and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts.
I mean, unlike the other talent, we are still here, not released.
And there's no pay cuts for
Too
us
soon?
because we don't get paid.
Too-
So we're all good.
there you go.
Yeah. Um, despite not getting paid, it was a good week for wrestling with. As we interviewed Kamikaze on Tuesday and Luke Powers on Wednesday. Two incredible, absolutely amazing interviews. Two very different individuals in their career right now. Cannot recommend either one enough. Definitely go back into the archives and check them out if you haven't already. But always looking towards the future. This upcoming Tuesday, we have Adam Anthony James Morton. He is the owner of Norfolk Championship Wrestling up in Canada, and you guessed it, Norfolk. We talk all the things about that. Starting the company, it being in his hometown, how it is, for the locals more than any thing. Having big names like Steve Macklin compete on the show and even defending a TNA title. We talk about his involvement in the action, his issues with Wade Allen, and a hell of a lot more. So you definitely want to go check that out on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we have Bull Madrid. Um, the fourth member of Paradigm. We talk about his time in, well, he currently still is, in AAPW, the America's Champion, his brutal cage match where he won that title. Holding every title AAPW has to offer. Um, his group, Paradigm, with Lou Cameron, Ethan Hunter, Mo Kelly, all friends of the show. We talk about that. And even a match where he had to drink tequila and actually drew up during the match. So there's a lot to unpack in that one. Definitely go check it out on Wednesday as well. And then always looking towards the future. On the 19th, we have Brian Samuels. The 20th, Colt Allen. The 25th, we have Isaiah Cross. 26th, we have CJ Clarkson. 27th, we have Ricky Roca. And then on June 3rd, we have Matthew Del Luna. So, a stacked couple of weeks coming up for Wrestling With. So definitely check us out. I think we're done putting ourselves over. No, Kaliko?
I mean, we always put ourselves over. Come on, man. It's never done. Can't stop, won't stop. No Diddy. But Diddy? I mean, is Diddy still a thing? I don't know.
Diddy should probably
Get
stop
to
at
the
this point.
get to the news. Get to the news.
It's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And there's a lot of news to talk about, but I think one thing that's kind of getting overlooked a bit by wrestling fans is the fact that Ted Turner actually passed away this week. And I think it is something that we should acknowledge because Ted Turner was, the owner of WCW. Um, I mean, he didn't necessarily run WCW, but he did own it, and he was a big, prominent figure in pro wrestling, even though he wasn't necessarily involved all that much. You know what I mean, Kaliko?
I mean, he was, as a guy from Georgia, I'm just going to tell you, he was involved in a lot of shit. Uh, Wrestling being one of it. But the thing is that without Ted Turner, there's no TBS. Without TBS, there's no TNT. Without those things, there's no alternate TV for wrestling to be on. I mean, he's mostly known for being the founder of CNN, which is, one of the biggest news channels in the world. But that's it. And then he also owned the Atlanta Hawks and the Braves. I would know because I was in Atlanta at the time. He was a big guy. But even though he wasn't involved in the sense of booking and everything like that, he was prominent in being a person that could give big financial backing to a wrestling organization. And that to me is important because without him signing the checks, there is no NWO, to be quite honest. Like,
Right.
somebody got to sign that check, right? So, so that's where his contribution is, even though it's not like in the sense of, well, he wasn't involved in the booking or he didn't really care too much about the wrestling history. But you can bet your ass without his money, is no like there is no NWO, there's no WCW, there's none of that. Because keep in mind, WCW came from the abstract of NWA being done, because that's what WCW came from, the what was left of NWA.
Right. And I mean, he also, because WCW was a thing, and it gave wrestlers an alternative, that they wouldn't be just, if you didn't make it in WWE, there was nothing else. Um, and that actually pushed WWE to actually, push the envelope themselves, create the, Attitude Era. And, I would say that WCW, if nothing else, helped WWE come out of, the financial, you know, ruins that they were in 94, 95, because of, the competition that WCW and Ted Turner gave them. It I'm pretty sure that this actually happened. Like, Ted Turner told Vince McMahon, I bought a wrestling company, and he was going to put him out of business. So that was Ted Turner's, outlook on things. So that only fueled the fire for, Vince McMahon to kind of, push the envelope, like I said. So, I mean, again, he's not somebody that we talk a lot about when it comes to pro wrestling, but he still is a prominent figure in pro wrestling for what he did and his contribution. And I could maybe make the argument that we probably wouldn't get an AEW without Ted Turner, because, a lot of Tony's influences come from WCW.
That is true. Like, Ted Turner walked so Khan can run.
I would say,
Yeah.
Ted walked so Tony could sniff, if you know what I mean.
Oh, come on.
The
But that was the
snowman.
other problem. But that was the other thing too, because Vince's money, and this is where people kind of like Ted had an advantage because Vince's money was like the loss at the time was like the Lakers. It was family tied, so it was basically boom or bust. Vice Ted Turner money was long. Like, his money was long because at the time he was owning TNT, TBS, CNN, the Atlanta Braves, the Atlanta Hawks. Man, that dude money was running. And WCW didn't end because he was running out of money.
Right. I mean, maybe at some point WCW would have bankrupted them, but it never seemed like that was a issue. I mean, as long as he was at the head of it, WCW was going to run. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so like I said, man, big contribution, like contributor, and him. I mean, he's got a lot of people mourning him. Like, I mean, as far as like his legacy is concerned. So I mean,
Yeah, and like I said, Ted Turner passed away May 6th, at the age of 87. So yeah, um, can't say that it's you know this man obviously lived a lot of life. Just looking at like his wiki bio, it's just so long because he's done just so much, and it again, a life well lived, I would say. So you can't necessarily be mad at that. You can it's definitely worth celebrating. Um,
yeah. And to be honest, I thought that dude died a long time ago. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I thought, I swear to God, I thought he died like 20 years ago.
um, no, I knew that he was alive.
Oh,
But
I mean, when you don't hear about people, you assume that they're dead until.
like with the Howard Finkel thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, of course, obviously Ted leaves friends and family, so he has 5 children. So our thoughts and prayer go out to his friends and family. All right. Somebody with their friends and families at this point is a one Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Earlier this week, um, they they I don't want to say released. They was not released by WWE. They mutually parted ways, because they could not come to terms on a new contract structural slash deal. So yeah, that's insane because Kofi Kingston was the longest reigning tenured member of the WWE roster. So that's just kind of insane that Kofi Kingston, like a life force, you would think, you would have thought, is no longer a part of the company. I'm quite shocked, and we'll talk about what the future holds for them. But like, what was your initial reaction hearing that Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, have left WWE?
I mean, that was. I mean, it was it was shocking, but not so much to me. And the reason I say that is because they've done everything within reason in the WWE. So really, there's no, what else do they have to prove? But I'm surprised in the manner in which TKO let them go. And because TKO is now starting to get this rep of being like trying to pay these wrestlers like UFC fighters. And I get it because of the simple fact that they're not doing road shows. And by the fact that they're not doing road shows, that's the backside of not doing road shows. People are just chilling at the crib getting paid. And this is where TKO is having this issue like, well, we got to make more money, and these people got to have more TV appeal. And then New Day's not having more TV appeal. But the problem is that Xavier Woods had more than just regular TV appeal. He was probably their biggest video game ambassador that they had in the company. So they kind of did hindsight 2020 on that, and now the rumor is that they're trying to bring him back. But I don't think he would come back unless Kofi comes back.
So you think that there is a potential for them to actually come back?
Well, for Xavier, yes, because his value was also more in the video game space, the nerding video game space.
I mean, yeah.
Like literally, they literally put money in him and Ethan Page promoting their WWE Supercard game, and not to mention WWE 2K. So the WWE 2K series.
I mean, no offense to Xavier Woods at this point, but like, do they need Xavier Woods to promote the video games? I mean, they have other people in the company that plays video games.
But he was the most known in it. That's the thing.
I mean, at this point, I mean, if Adam Cole's, contract comes up with AEW, I mean, he could be their video game guy. I mean, AJ Styles is a pretty big video game guy himself. So, I mean, there's not a lack of, names that could replace Xavier, I would say. But, I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I'm here. But I mean, but it's just. But still, he's like their biggest guy. Like E3, who else is going to like the E3s and the Comic Cons other than him? Granted, they'll have people, but he was also an ambassador.
true. I think that's a big loss for WWE Kofi Kingston. Like, again, third longest tenured guy there. And he was in some type of program with Javion. So I mean there's a lot of history with Kofi to just say he's done. I mean I feel like at some point when things kind of calm down with TKO, if they ever do, which it remains to be unseen at this point, I would say that maybe we would see Kofi Kingston come back. Xavier Woods, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sorry, but he was never as big of a name as Kofi was. Um, what they decide to do, going forward, I mean, in my opinion, the world is Kofi Kingston oyster because, like, there is no company in the world that would not hire Kofi Kingston.
Well, I get it from a wrestling standpoint, but Xavier's work was more than the wrestling part. So I guess I'm seeing it from that other side. So that's just me.
Do you think that they're going to stick together, or do you think that they're going to part ways at this point?
Oh, they're gonna stick together. They've been together for 15 years. Why wouldn't they stick together?
Because again, yeah, Kofi Kingston had a Hall of Fame career before the New Day started. So I mean, he didn't necessarily need them to begin with. He just liked being with them. But I mean, I'm sorry, but the New Day hadn't hasn't been relevant for quite some time. I mean, Biggie got injured. Then, Xavier got injured a couple of times, and then, at the tail end of everything, they put in the guy that was with Austin Theory. I can't remember his name. Grayson Waller.
Grayson Waller.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot. You know, they were trying to keep something afloat that was probably dead for maybe 2, 3 years at that point. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think I think you're misunderestimating the value of Xavier Woods. I guess that's just me because his value was also it had to do with wrestling, but it was also that other stuff, man. I'm telling you, it matters. That's why Tyler Breeze is sitting there on the WWE 2K deal.
True, but again, the key word we're talking about is wrestler. I mean, Xavier Woods could literally do anything in other media, video games, and that's be fine. I mean, I could see him going to other, wrestling companies, but I don't think that he would be as wildly accepted as, Kofi. Kaliko?
Yeah.
Kaliko? And we have two Kalikos now.
Damn, they just killing me. What the hell? Anyways,
Respawn.
respawn. Anyways, but I mean, I get your point. I guess I'm just the person who's looking at it from a holistic thing. Tyler, I mean, like I said, Tyler Breeze got the 2K deal. You don't think Xavier would get that 2K deal?
I mean, yeah, but
But I
that.
don't think he would take it because Kofi, and I think he's just gonna go wherever Kofi goes. It's gonna be a thing. Wherever Kofi goes, he's gonna go.
Towing that line as long as he can tow it.
That is true.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like the world is Kofi Kingston's oyster at this point. Um, where I see him going at this point, I I would say that he might do something in AEW. Like, why wouldn't AEW want him? They would definitely want him. And I
I
could,
think they would want him. They would want him. I think he's just gonna be chilling, relaxing with his family. He's gonna take time out. He's taking time off for sure.
well, that's all fine and well. But we gotta talk about, like, when he comes back. Are we seeing an AEW deal on Ring of Honor? Not Ring of Honor. Um, New Japan deal. I mean, that would be pretty cool to see Kofi Kingston in New Japan. Um,
Me, I mean, personally, I think he's financially sound. If he retires the rest of his life, he's set. Because New Day made a lot of money.
I mean,
Say what you will, they were merch movers.
yes. I
So
mean, in
that's
the
what I'm saying. Like the cereal alone, just the cereal.
no, you're absolutely right. I mean, they did sell a lot of merch at one point in the time, for sure.
I mean, were they top five? I bet you they were top 10
Of all
before they
time,
went heel. Within the last 10 years, they probably were top five.
I would buy into that. The last 10
If
years, you
not
said,
top,
right?
if not five, six. Yeah, last 10 years from 2016 to now. Top top, if not top five, top 10 for damn sure.
I agree with that. Well, unfortunately, the cuts don't stop cutting. Um, a lot of WWE wrestlers have been asked to take a 50% pay cut and restructure their deals and figure out something new. The reason given is that WWE wrestlers do not work as often as they do. Um, they are getting their hotels and rental cars comped by the company, and they're only working one day out of the week. There is no, like, multiple house shows. So that was the reason stated, we're paying all this money and you're only working, one day out of the week. What's I mean, low key, I get it, but I feel like it was maybe not the right time to maybe roll this out, considering, all the negativity that came out of WrestleMania, the recent releases, which, I mean, you could be mad about them, and I'm not saying you personally, but I mean, you could be mad about the releases, but it's not like it's something WWE haven't done, every single year. Like, this is not news. So for all of this to kind of come out, I'm thinking they're hoping that this, at some point it's going to blow over, but like it's just been bad news after bad news after bad news. Um, but what are your thoughts on the 50%, pay cuts when it comes to WWE?
It just sounds like I said. It screams TKO is trying to treat them like UFC fighters. And here's the thing: everyone knew that a majority of the money that WWE was making were in house shows. So just by you signing them and you got rid of the house show aspect, you kind of cut that target, right? Like, so it's a trade off thing. So they basically were like, okay, we're just gonna cut the house shows, make those shows that and only highlight the shows that are on TV. Therefore, they think they can raise the prices of said shows, and people are paying it because clearly people are there. The downside is that now the shows are relegated to 4 hours a week, not including any obligations thereof with TV, ESPN, Fox, whatever the case may be. So the people who are not being used for those, what are they doing? And I get that point, but if you knew this was the case, why didn't you just bring back the house show aspect the same way that you're dealing with the UFC? Because the UFC biggest gates are pay-per-views. But that doesn't stop them from having a UFC fight night or a UFC Brazilian Jiu Jitsu tournament or whatever the case may be. Why don't they just bring back the essence of the house show? Because you're already doing it when going overseas.
Right.
So it'd be one thing if you just cut all house shows altogether, but the fact that you're still doing them when you're going to Perth or when you're going to Italy or when you're going to Saudi Arabia, you might as well just kept that going in the States because one, it uses the talent that otherwise wouldn't get used, and B, it gets those who are on the main talent. And I mean, to me, I don't get it, but that's just me.
And I mean, house shows in general are just were a fun time. Like some of my best memories were, house shows that I've attended. Because those are the things that you don't necessarily, get to see, on the main show. And, it helps guys and girls that aren't necessarily, getting those reps in, get better or develop, a, character that they didn't maybe necessarily, have if they wasn't on those shows. Um, One case in point I would say was, The Godfather. He developed the Godfather gimmick on the house shows. He was wrestling, JBL, and he was like, "Well, I got this. I have a goal in the back, and if you take the count out, all you could be with that goal." And then he would go into the crowd back, and he would say something to piss off JBL. JBL would come back, hit him, win the match, and then he'd say "Pimpin' ain't easy," and that's how the Godfather became a thing. But things like that wouldn't necessarily have manifested if they didn't happen on house shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, but even then, the house shows allow them to run loose, and that was the biggest issue. They were always able to run loose and be loose and have a good time and ad lib. That was the biggest thing.
Right.
So I mean, the inability to ad lib is just all jacked up.
Well,
But it is what it is. Frustrating, but it is what it is.
I feel like the only line of defense between TKO and WWE at this point is Triple H and Nick Khan. They're the only ones that are going to stop them to say, you know, this isn't going to work. We're not going with this. The fans aren't going to buy this. Luckily, the celebrity involvement that we had, this last year in WrestleMania, they understood the business and respected the business. Anybody else, that could have been, a really bad situation. Um, that being said, Triple H and Nick Khan did re-sign with TKO to maintain their positions, which I would say is a good thing. But, I do have to kind of question, when they do actually leave at some point, because I'm not expecting them to stay in these positions, forever at this point. Just realistically, what happens to WWE then?
Well, I don't know. It's just gonna be interesting. It's just weird. Oh, it's weird, but
I and it pains me to say this, I think WWE will cease to be WWE when they finally do away with Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. And I do think that at some point down the line, TKO will scrap those shows. And that's not a joke. Oh, another person rumor and innuendo into getting a pay cut or not wanting to pay him or whatever that might be is Roman Reigns. There is rumor that he isn't necessarily looking to stay because of this current shakeup with TKO. I don't know if that's true or not. Um, but he does seem like the guy if he's not necessarily getting paid, he's not necessarily going to stick around. You know what I mean? Kaliko?
I mean, with all of this going down, I don't think a lot of people are gonna stick around because they're asking people to like take these crazy pay cuts, and I'm looking like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I get it. The whole point of it is to make a profit, and I mean, this whole thing is just a big negative issue on it, and it it it's just weird. People are like, and this is the funny thing because I was talking and I was trying to gauge from my guy on the inside, right? My
Mm-hmm.
guy, and I'm like, with New Day leaving on their own accord, it's not going to get the same stress as like a R Truth not getting signed, right? Um, but um, I'm just wondering, like, what is the morale of the locker room? And I've been trying to gauge that for them. And it's and it's really tough to you know really tough to try to gauge that, right?
Right. I mean,
But
yeah.
but yeah, it's so don't get me wrong, I'm gonna be digging on that story. I'm still trying to get them to
I
give me
mean,
the deets.
it kind of feels like, what Brock Lesnar did at WrestleMania this year. It kind of makes a lot more sense because Brock is the type of person that is, if I'm not
Fuck you.
getting paid, I'm fuck this shit, I'm out. So I can imagine where he heard. maybe he heard something about this already and he was like, no, I'm not doing that. And it's
Oh
like,
hell yeah. That is definitely in his forte.
yeah, you're flipping the book on me. No, I'll flip the book on you. So that that seems like a a total Brock Lesnar move on Brock Lesnar's you know part. So it's like you said, a lot of people might just leave at this point. What? Who has to leave for this to be, bare bones? Like the WWE is in big trouble. I feel Roman, Cody, and Punk are like your biggest stars. So I mean, they would obviously be at the top of those lists. No,
Roman, Cody, Seth. Who else?
Punk.
Punk. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, I'm trying to think of who else. Roman, Seth, Punk. Um,
Funny enough, don't don't. I mean, obviously, if Seth left, it would be insane. But I don't think that it would be as big of an impact if Roman or Cody left. If I'm being completely honest.
it would in the sense of Seth being the locker room ish guy and
True.
a workhorse. Yeah, it makes sense in that aspect. I'm not saying like it's an end all be all, but it can't. I think it would have one. I think.
Well, we shall see. Like I said, Triple H and Nick Khan are staying with the company, so hopefully they're, like I said, the last line of defense, and TKO won't be wanting to do Viagra on the pole matches anytime soon. Uh, in other news, Raha Jackson took a plea deal. For anybody that don't know the context, a couple of months ago, maybe like 6 months ago, I'm not entirely sure. Raja Jackson, the son of Rampage Jackson, was at Rikishi's promotion Knox Pro. He brutally assaulted Psycho Stu, put him in the hospital. At one point, he was critical condition. Stu luckily took a recovered and is actually okay at this point. But obviously, the cops were called on Raja, and all of that went down. But now he took a plea deal. He will be paying, expenses for Psycho, Stu, and he is expected to serve 90 days in jail for assault. So yeah, I would say that that's a pretty satisfying conclusion to this, story. I would say that I do hope that Raja does get some type of help for his mental state. Maybe this is what, prompts him to. I don't know. But I do hope him the best, and I do hope Stu the best as well. That both of them can kind of get over, this really bad, situation that happened. What say you, Kaliko?
Yeah, that's the case. You hope that they can get over it, and yes, they probably will. But the damage of reputation has already been done, and in today's culture, it's tough to get that grace back. I mean, we're a forgiving nation, but as of late, uh-uh. It seems like they'll cancel you right on site. So, I mean, in Stu's case, it's different. But for Jackson, yeah, and then for Knox Pro, hell yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, especially on an indie level, it's really hard to get that grace back from the fans.
Oh yes.
Like you need to really build that trust back up in order to, you know, get people, invested again. But, I would say that at some point it is going to shift because obviously, Rikishi's a big name in the business. So, you know, at some point they're going to get over it, I would say. Um,
Maybe. Because the thing is, it's not about just Rikishi getting it over or getting forgiveness. It's getting the reputation that that school is trustworthy of the students, of potential students,
I agree with that.
and that is going to take a long time to get back. Because keep in mind, one of the people that they probably tout as their biggest graduates, I mean, she rarely mentions it.
You're talking about J Rod, right?
J Rod, yep, one of their that's probably their biggest. Rusev is, but then again, but they're one of their biggest recent graduates that is on the scene and making waves as we speak.
Is she even on the scene anymore? I thought that she was on American Gladiator now, and that's what she's doing.
She still does it here and there. So American. She's not. I think she's in it. The gladiator thing is like a side quest that happened to pop up.
I got you. Um, and Chelsea Green. Earlier this week, maybe it was last week, I don't remember, but she underwent a heart procedure, a somewhat invasive 3-hour procedure, to deal with a heart condition. Apparently she is on the mend. She is okay, and she is expected to make a full recovery. Um, I they said, and she said that she'll be able to come back and get in the ring, but I don't know. I mean, I love Chelsea Green, and I would absolutely love to see her, wrestle once again. But whether you say heart procedure, heart surgery, anything with the heart, I would say, you want to be cautious, from the company standpoint, because, that could be something really bad if she gets back in the ring. Um, and, I would just like Chelsea Green to be safe at this point. So, I hope it's not the ending of her career, and it's not, as severe as I'm thinking it is. But what say you, Kaliko?
Yeah, when you hear heart, it's a big thing. The only saving grace is that it's no one knows until she says anything. So unless they're not like as long as they're not putting the following in it, a stent, a pacemaker, or anything that is like anything helping to make the heart beat, because that in itself is done. You're done, data. You might as well just hang it up. So I don't know if it's just something where it's something with the lung, or you don't know, and you really won't know unless she starts training. So you know who knows how long that's going to be as
She's
far as
still
like
recovering from
recovery,
an ankle injury as
and
well.
she's still recovering from the ankle. So yeah, that's another thing. So it's kind of a double whammy with her. So hey, yeah, you just hope that it's for the best and she's better. That's the biggest key.
No, absolutely. I agree. It. usually when it comes to pro wrestlers, the two big, deal breakers for, medical is back and, well, neck, back, and, brain. Um, and, those are things that can happen, just in the ring, this seems like, it's a medical condition. It's not something that, you know, happened in the ring. So, with things like that, you never really know, you know?
Yeah, because it could be a genetic thing. It could not. You don't. That's the biggest thing we don't know. But if it was something where she would have to retire, I'm pretty sure the way TKO moving, trying to load off contracts, they would have been loaded that one on.
Yeah, I feel like you're not wrong about that. So, but, hopefully, yeah. Chelsea Green, speedy recovery. Well, hoping for a speedy recovery. Alright.
Speediest of speedy recovery.
I believe that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.